Or everyone, welcome back. So today I wanted to talk about the Specialization Revamp in quite a bit of detail, but also touch on a couple of other things. It's almost like a news video. There's a couple of things I wanted to talk about. The main thing being specialization, and the reason I want to talk about that is because we had some comment recently from Pally Hofstein about Specialization Revamp, which I think is important to go over. So yeah, we're going to get straight into this one, guys. Drop a like, subscribe, all of that good stuff down below. So for anyone who is perhaps new to the game or doesn't really remember what the Specialization Revamp is all about, this was the article released on 28th of October 2021. So quite a long time ago, 16 months ago or so, whatever it is, talking about what they were going to do with specializations in the game, because specializations, for the most part, are kind of... they don't really have any impact. I mean, you kind of set your specialization up and then you leave it and you don't really go back to it. And they wanted to make it a bit more impactful. So let's just quickly go over what they were planning on doing here. So as previously communicated, we are back with an episode of the Intelligence Annex Initiative. While all details will be shared closer to launch, we wanted to give you the first sneak peek about how the team is going to continue to give you more choice in building your perfect agent. To introduce this content, we now have the floor to Trick Dempsey, expert game designer. Trick Dempsey no longer working at Massive. It says, with our next update, specializations will greatly improve both build diversity and player choice. To do this, we will be splitting that specialization progress into a linear level and a specialization tree. And it says here, our objective with specializations is to empower players to create agents who match their playstyle preferences. So in terms of the linear level progression, in the current design, much of the existing specialization tree is mandatory. Agents can spend their points into improving signature weapon damage and ammo acquisition, also requiring to manually add and remove individual elements whenever you decide to try out new weapons. This linear level progression will also, it says, to better fit with our ambition to create more bespoke experience for all specializations, these elements will be moving into a strictly linear level system. This is where you'll unlock your skill variants, your specialization, sidearm and upgrades, and signature weapon power. All of this is where the power increase comes from. Perks will be moved here once they've been reviewed and tuned. It says here the specialization tree. Thanks to the addition of the linear progression system, we'll be entirely reviewing the specialization tree to provide a stronger focus on customization and choice to the players. Importantly, there will not be enough specialization points to purchase every perk on the tree. Instead, you will need to choose what perks best fit your playstyle. Specialization tree focuses on 3 elements: signature weapons, armor kits, and grenades. For grenades and armor kits, we want to provide alternate uses for these consumables, which may be triggered instantly in addition to their standard behavior. For signature weapons, we want to allow players to customize their behavior and to invest in specialization points to increase the impact those choices might have. This would be a meaningless addition without the ability to make naked enemies vulnerable to signature weapon damage, so we're implementing the system to make that possible. And it says here the power of choice. While a specialization and its signature weapon are tied, that would no longer be true for their mods, skill variants, and sidearms anymore. By sufficiently leveling up a specialization, you can unlock these formerly specialization restricted specific items for use with other specializations. Do you want to use the Artificer Hive with the mortar turret while wielding the Survivalist D50? You'll be able to do that. As you might guess, these changes, among other exciting improvements to come in our next update, are quite complex, and 16 months later, and we still don't know much more about the system. It's how they should have finished this. Obviously, that's not how they did finish this. Now, this article got a lot of people excited. It got me excited very much so, because, like I said, specializations in the game, not really that impactful. Kind of just to go in there, do some stuff, leave it. Whereas this felt more like a system where it would really have an impact on the build that you're running. So if you're running this particular build that does this particular kind of thing, then you would need to go into specialization and you would want to click these nodes to get the most out of that build. That's not what specializations currently really offer, but this kind of system, this specialization revamp, was going to offer that. I think they also provided some examples of what you could be getting. I think they provided some armor kit examples where, it would give you, like, I can't remember what it was, but it was very specific and very powerful. And that was important because obviously, as they mentioned, you wouldn't get all the points that you get are not going to open up everything for you. You are going to have to be very specific in what you want to choose. And this is a kind of system that you see in a lot of other games like Diablo and stuff like that, where they have really strong kind of skill trees. What's the game that I've been playing more recently that's got it in? I can't remember what it is. More like MMO games, right? And it really has felt like the Division are going that way. I mean, you look at the Descent game mode; it's more of like an MMO type thing, as a roguelite. But it feels like this was again part of that. So that's the Specialization revamp that everyone's kind of been looking forward to, and kind of hoping this will be coming with Year 5 Season 1, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So Sunny Beams said to Pally, when is Specialization Revamp coming? Is that still in the works? And then Pally responded saying, hey, this was brought up in the last stream. Nothing imminent. Ultimately, we weren't too happy with the design and decided to look at other ways to accomplish what this set out to do. So, guys, bad news really. It's not coming yet. And at least from what we can see here, this isn't going to be coming Season 1. And unless they can find a direction for this, unless they can figure out how they're going to accomplish what they want to accomplish, which seems to be that they want to give players choice and they want to give players power, okay? Because that's what the Specialization Revamp was planning to do. I don't really have an alternative way to do this. I'm not a dev or anything like that. I don't really know how they could do this. The Specialization Revamp sounded like a good idea, but obviously unless you're working on the systems and stuff like that, it would be hard to know. It's quite possible this has been tested by players or ETF members, I'm not sure, and they weren't happy with it. So at the moment, guys, Specialization Revamp, something we've been waiting for nearly 2 years for, 16 months or whatever. It's not coming, guys. And yeah, that's a real shame. So there we go, guys. That's kind of the update on Specialization Revamp. To end on a more positive note, however, I did want to quickly just touch on Pally Hofstein. He talks a lot on Twitter, and I love following him. Honestly, I highly recommend you follow him. He's a funny guy, and he gives us a lot of content. It is what it is. So I just want to mention this. This is kind of a good news thing. So it says, spent the week discussing AI systems, streaming tech, server structure, lighting budgets, animation pipeline, faction lore, weapon behaviors, shader realization, difficulty balancing, brand requirements, while managing my team and budget and creating our assets by hand. This project has kicked the last vestige of imposter syndrome out of me. I've learned that I can, if needed, hold an entire game in my head and speak about all of it intelligently. And obviously I dropped him a like on that, because this is good news. This, to me, I mean, I don't know, is it good that Pally appears to be doing everything? No, and I don't think that's the case. He's just clearly got his fingers in many, many pies. But there's a lot going on for this game. There's no doubt in the background, guys. There is a lot going on in this game with Massive working on it, and I believe there are probably at least 2 Ubisoft studios that are also working on new content for the Division 2 for Year 5. There is a lot going on in this game. Difficulty balancing was one of the things that really stuck out to me. I don't want to go back to what I've said before about difficulty in this game, but I still believe that red bars are just, generally speaking, are a bit of a pain. But I also think, and I've said this before, there needs to be difficulty above legendary for those real hardcore players. That isn't just more health and more damage, because that's what I think they would do if they did do it. Because there's people that are doing legendary runs of in 5 minutes. Legendary runs of stuff in 5 minutes. And it's just crazy that the level some of these people are at. And so for them, having something a bit more difficult is obviously a good thing. But there's other stuff in here, brand requirements, faction lore, weapon behaviors. There's a lot going on. And that's good. It's good to know that in the background they are working on this game a lot. I did know that the end of this season is fairly, there's not a lot going on, but I also know that's because they have literally put everything into Year 5, and I'm expecting a lot from Year 5. I really am. I'm not sure if I should be doing that, because, with expectations comes possible disappointment, but there is a lot going on in the background for this game, and I'm expecting Year 5 to hit pretty hard. So there we go, guys. That was it. I just wanted to kind of go over those two. Specialization Revamp is currently not coming, basically. Bad news. Good news is there's a lot going on in the background for this game, and I'm expecting it to really hit us with Year 5, which we should know more about in the next couple of weeks, months, whatever it might be. But that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you all have a good weekend. Until the next one, Epic out.